What happens when the music industry's most polished angel makes a secret pact with its most notorious rebel? You get a story that was never supposed to be told. They called it a train wreck waiting to happen. A marketing stunt doomed from the start. A clash of worlds so total, so absolute, that failure wasn't just possible, it was guaranteed. One artist lived in a world of perfect choreography and flawless public grace. The other built a kingdom in the shadows, haunted by his own fame. The world saw an angel and a rebel. They predicted a catastrophe. But what they got was a masterpiece. This is the untold story of how two artists on opposite sides of the planet, from two completely different universes, ignored the noise and created a connection so powerful it would not only defy expectations, it would shatter them. This is the story of Eyes Closed. Chapter 1: The Fortress and the Exile. To understand how impossible this felt, you have to understand the kingdoms they ruled. They weren't just artists. They were symbols. First, there's Kim Jisoo. By 2025, she was more than a pop star. She was an institution. The beating heart of Blackpink, the biggest girl group on Earth. A global ambassador for Dior. The CEO of her own powerhouse label, Jisoo. Her entire career was a masterclass in perfection. Forged in the demanding furnace of the K-pop industry, Jisoo's brand was precision, elegance, and an unshakable, angelic grace. Every smile was perfect. Every performance was polished. Her fans didn't just love her, they trusted her. She was the steady, warm light in a chaotic industry. She had built a fortress of perfection, and she was its queen. And then, there's Zayn. If Jisoo's world was a fortress, Zayn's was a self-imposed exile. The Bradford bad boy. The man who famously walked away from the biggest band in the world, One Direction, right at the peak of its power. He didn't just leave, he vanished, choosing integrity over idolatry. His solo career was a rebellion. A rejection of the pop machine he felt had almost broken him. His music was his sanctuary, moody, atmospheric R&B that felt more like a private confession than a public performance. He was brilliant, but he was a ghost. Famously private. Allergic to the spotlight. He spoke through his songs, and nothing else. By 2025, he was in the middle of a quiet renaissance. His album Room Under the Stairs was a raw, honest masterpiece that critics adored. He was slowly returning, not to the pop game, but to his own art. On his own terms. So, you have two icons. One who played the game better than anyone, and one who tried to burn the game to the ground. Nobody on Earth would ever think to put them in the same room. But what if the idea didn't come from Earth at all? Chapter 2: The Whisper That Became a Firestorm. It started, as it always does, with the fans. In mid-2025, the internet began to notice things. Small things. The kind of things that drive fandoms insane. During a rare live stream, Zayn mumbled something about working with a truly special collaborator who would surprise people. A week later, Jisoo, known for her vibrant, colorful Instagram, suddenly changed her profile picture. It was now a stark, black and white portrait. A moody, black and white portrait that was identical in tone to Zayn's. It was a whisper. A fan-made theory. A joke. Until it wasn't. In early October 2025, the whisper became a firestorm. Teasers dropped. Then, an official announcement from Jisoo herself. A new single, Eyes Closed, featuring Zayn Malik. The industry didn't just react, it short-circuited. Music executives choked on their coffee. Critics sharpened their knives. The narrative was instantly set in stone, the angel and the rebel. It was the perfect headline, dripping with cynical doubt. How could Jisoo's bright, crystal-clear vocal ever mesh with Zayn's smoky, alternative R&B? How could the discipline of K-pop survive the chaotic creativity of a Western loner? The questions were brutal. Was this a desperate attempt by Jisoo to conquer the West? Was Zayn selling out his hard-won artistic integrity? Comment sections became a war zone. Everyone was watching. Not with anticipation, but with morbid curiosity. They were all waiting for the crash. But the real story wasn't happening in the headlines. It was happening in the silence of a recording studio. Chapter 3: The Harmony in the Static. Imagine the silence in that studio. On one side, Jisoo, an artist used to a collaborative beehive of producers, writers, and choreographers, all working in perfect sync. On the other, Zayn, an artist who had spent a decade writing music alone, treating the studio as a private sanctuary. This was the friction point. The very thing that was supposed to tear them apart became the glue that held the entire project together. Sources from inside the studio sessions paint a picture not of conflict, but of quiet fascination. Zayn, initially reserved, was reportedly stunned by Jisoo's quiet authority. She wasn't just a pop idol, she was a CEO, an artist with a laser-focused vision. She didn't just perform, she directed. And Jisoo saw past the rebel caricature the media had built. She heard the profound vulnerability in Zayn's voice. She connected not with the bad boy, but with the artist who had fought to protect his soul. The breakthrough moment, the one that changed everything, came during the songwriting. The track, Eyes Closed, is about finding love by ignoring the noise. Ignoring the past, the mistakes, the public perception. The lyrics they wrote together became a mirror of their own partnership. The beds we've been in, the names and the faces of who we were with, and, oh, ain't nobody perfect, but it's all good. This wasn't just a song. It was their conversation. It was a defense of their collaboration. A quiet manifesto against the world that was already judging them. Zayn's signature falsetto wasn't clashing with Jisoo's unique, husky tone. It was wrapping around it. Her stability grounded his ethereal vocals. It wasn't a competition. It was a conversation between two equals. The disaster everyone predicted was falling apart, note by note. In a later interview, Jisoo would say working with Zayn was truly special. They had found harmony in the static. But transforming that private connection into a global phenomenon was their next great battle. Before we reveal how Eyes Closed broke the internet and rewrote the rules, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. You won't want to miss the untold stories we have coming up. Chapter 4. The Verdict. On October 10, 2025, the world stopped waiting. Eyes Closed was released. The music video was a stroke of genius. A minimalist, cosmic dream. Zayn and Jisoo, floating in separate, sterile sections of a spaceship, lost in their own universes, before finally meeting in the silent, beautiful emptiness of space. The metaphor was perfect. Two stars from different galaxies, finding a shared orbit. The commercial impact was a supernova. Eyes Closed debuted at number 21 on the global Spotify chart, the highest new entry of the week. It exploded in China, hitting number 1 and becoming a best-selling single. For Jisoo, it was a landmark moment, a wildly successful English-language debut that pushed her over 1 billion streams on Spotify. But here's the twist. The reaction wasn't universal praise. Just as the skeptics predicted, some critics called the song too safe. They found the stripped-back production underwhelming for two megastars. Some viewers felt the minimalist video was a letdown compared to the explosive visuals of Kpop. And yet, this is where the real magic happened. The criticism wasn't a sign of failure. It was proof they had created something that mattered. For every person who called the vocals subdued, thousands of fans heard an intentional, breathtaking intimacy. For every critic who found the video boring, millions saw a brave choice to focus on pure artistic chemistry instead of spectacle. The song became a cultural Rorschach test. It forced you to choose a side. It wasn't just background noise, it was an event. A phenomenon to be debated, dissected, and defended. And that conversation kept it at the very center of the pop culture universe for weeks. Chapter 5. The Echo. So, what is the true legacy of Eyes Closed? It's not the chart positions. It's not the streaming numbers. It's the blueprint it created. For Jisoo, this was a declaration of artistic sovereignty. By choosing a partner as unconventional as Zayn, she proved her vision extended far beyond the borders of K-pop. She wasn't just following a trend, she was setting a new one, proving that risks pay off. For Zayn, it was a homecoming. After years in the shadows, he re-engaged with the mainstream, but on his own terms. He didn't have to change who he was. He just had to find the right partner. The collaboration brought his artistry to a massive new audience, showing a more open, collaborative side without sacrificing an ounce of his integrity. The story of The Angel and the Rebel was supposed to be a cautionary tale, a story about why worlds shouldn't collide. Instead, it became a lesson that the most profound connections are often found in the most unlikely places. It proved that true collaboration isn't about one artist fitting into another's world. It's about two artists having the courage to build a new world together. That train wreck everyone was waiting for? It never arrived. Because this was never a story about clashing. It was a story about connecting. The angel and the rebel didn't destroy each other. They showed each other, and the world, what it truly means to create with your eyes closed. The final conversation. The story of Zayn and Jisoo is a powerful reminder to look past the labels and listen for the truth. But now I want to hear from you. Did this collaboration change how you see either of them as an artist? And what unlikely collaboration do you dream of seeing next? Let me know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the stories that define music, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.